Hello everyone! So, you read the title of this video, right? This is not a monthly Pile of Shame report. No. Though one of those will be coming late, because I have 3 other videos to do instead. So, I'm attending a tournament in a week's time. Hi, editor's note here. So this video is massively late. As you'll find out during this video, I had severely underestimated the time it would take me to paint all this, and it took me right up until 2 days before the tournament started. So, whoops. And for the upcoming tournament, I want to go back to my Ultramarines painted as Carcharodons. However, for the list, I want this. Only these are actually finished. And this one has been half completed for almost a year and is never finished. But with the tournament 9 days away, I'm sure I can get these done. Or at least that's what I thought. The models were supposed to arrive 9 days before the tournament, and 2 days before I had to submit my list. Cutting it close, I know, I kind of decided to enter last minute. However, to ensure that I got a few things started early, I went to my local shop and picked up one of the Terminator Assault Squads and the Infiltrators, just to ensure I could get started nice and early. So this will be a part 1 of the tournament prep video, with my Calgar to Tiberius conversion being a separate video for part 2 coming out tomorrow. But let's get into the painting. So let's start with the Infiltrators. I'm only going to say this one time here, so I don't have to repeat myself until the end of the video. Everything was sprayed with white primer. So, out of the way, to start off the Infiltrators, I took, Basecoats, I can't say the word, it's on the screen now, grey from Citadel, and painted the armor, helmet, and packs. Before taking Abaddon Black from Citadel to paint the shoulders, the trim, the eyes, and the under armor. Next, I grabbed Decals Gold from TT Combat to paint in the skulls on the chest. I then grabbed up Dark Wood Speed Paint to do the combat knife sheaths, as well as the bolt pistol holder. For taking Dark Grey from Vallejo to paint in part of the bolt rifles and pistol, and then the combat knife hilts. Finally, I grabbed up Gunmetal from TT Combat to paint in the antenna bits, the little radar thing, the helmet vents, the remainders of the guns, the pistol holder, the pistol grip for the ones in the holsters, and the backpack vents, as well as the combat knife blade on the model that had one unsheathed. I then got a little bit distracted, so we'll jump into a character now, the Librarian. I started by painting the armor with Tidal Wave Speed Paint to make it nice and blue, because Librarians are not always the chapter's main color. Before taking Wraithbone from Citadel and painting in the outside of the cloak, and Corn Red, also from Citadel, to do the inside, before taking Abaddon Black to paint in the shoulders, the trim, and the eyes. Then took Decals Gold from TT Combat to paint in the Aquila and the Librarius skulls across the model, and the sword hilt. Next, I took Pallid Bone Speed Paint to do the skull of the Librarius symbol on the shoulder, before taking Darkwood for the horns. I used Thousand Suns Blue from Citadel to do the glowing librarian bits on the helmet cover. I don't think it came out great. I'm probably going to try find a lighter color and then do it again, but it is what it is for now. Then I grabbed up Silver from Vallejo and painted the sword blade. I actually forgot to do the little yellow swavy bits. I have to do that after the tournament. Almost done, I grabbed up the Darkwood Speed Paint to do some of the pouch bits across the model. Finally, I grabbed up Gunmetal from TT Combat to paint in the helmet vents, as well as cables across the arms and the top of the helmet. Keeping on the streak of characters, I turned my attention to the Ancient. I took the Grey I Can't Pronounce from Citadel and painted the armor, helmet, pack, and the banner, before taking Abaddon Black from Citadel to paint in the shoulders, the trim, the eyes, and by this time parts of the banner before the under armor itself. Next, I grabbed Decals Gold from TT Combat to paint in the chest Aquila and the banner details, before taking White from Vallejo to make one of the details at the bottom of the banner white. I then took Slaughter Red from Speed Paint to paint in the laurels on the banner to get this lovely red contrast that really just grabs the attention on the battlefield. I then grabbed Darkwood Speed Paint to touch up to do the pouches details, before taking Dark Grey from Vallejo to do the parts of the bolt rifle. Finally, I grabbed Gunmetal from TT Combat to paint in the remainder of the rifle, as well as the helmet vents and backpack vents. The helmet wire things on the sides. And I still don't know what they're called, actually. I'll have to Google it. As well as the backpack vents. And now, before we move on to the main event in this video of the Assault Terminators and their captain, I quickly finished off the Jump Pack Intercessors using Abaddon Black for the shoulder trim. I'd originally painted it gold, mistakenly. And then I did the Corn Red to finish off the Plasma Pistols. Yep, that was literally it, and I didn't do it for a whole year. But now, onto the main event of this video, the Assault Terminators with their captain. Now, they need to be painted differently than the others, as the first Shiver Elite Terminators of the Carcharodon's Astra are painted off-white rather than grey, with red exile markings rather than white. However, those markings are not where they get their name. Instead, they get their namesake Red Brethren from the carnage they leave behind. After a fight, their pale armor is entirely coated and dripping with gore and blood, which I just think is so cool. So, when I was reading the Carcharodon's books, which are a great read, by the way, I 100% recommend them to any fan of Warhammer books, I thought of the Assault Terminators, and I just needed to have some for my Carcharodons. So I started with Holy... Jesus, I keep saying Holy White. It's Holy White speed paint for the armor and helmets before taking Abaddon Black to fill in the shoulders, eyes, and under armor. The Lightning Claw Sergeant had this incredible design on his claw fists, which just fits so well with a Carcharodon, so I painted the white skull, the skull with Slaughter Red, and the bolts with Averland Sunset. I painted the veteran symbol of the shoulder with Pallid Bone, before taking gunmetal and painting the claws. Once that was dry, I took Magic Blue Speed Paint and covered the gunmetal of each claw before wiping most of it away with my finger, making sure to grab towards the end of the claws, applying more pressure as I got towards the end, making the paint fainter before, making the paint fade out towards the end of the claws. Then used Decals Gold for the Aquila and the knee skull, and some Black Legion contrast paint from Citadel for the back vents. The 5 Thunderhammers with shields are done the same, except I used Decals Gold for the shield trim and center detail of that shield as well as the little bolt and Thunderhammer. I then took Magic Blue from Speed Paint again to do the main kind of body part of the shield, because I had my Blade Guard with that, so I kind of wanted to keep that going. Before using gunmetal for the Thunderhammer shaft and purple Swarm Speed Paint for the leather grip. And for the captain, the only changes were gold trim on the shoulders, as they are command, and dusk red for the cape, before I finally used dark grey from Vallejo and gunmetal from TT Combat for the bolter. But now I was just left with white Terminators, no red markings, and not trusting myself to be able to do them justice by hand, I turned to Impatient Tabletop for Carcharodon's Decals. They are a fantastic website that I highly recommend for all your Warhammer, bolt action, and fantasy decal needs. Now, for the stuff that was done on all the models. I got up my old decal sheet for the Carcharodon symbols and unit type markings that I got from Forgotten Chapters on Etsy. Another great decal provider. I can't find a lot of their stuff now, though, so I think that they are, unfortunately, no longer around. Before attaching all the models to fantastic crystal base toppers from Zabavka. We'll go with Zabavka Workshop over on Patreon, as well as I can't remember the name of it now. It's a website where you get a bunch of STLs from. I'll probably remember it towards the end. Which I 3D printed and painted with a bunch of different colors of speed paint that I had lying about to make all the crystals different colors and really pop out. Links to the decals and base companies will be in the description, as they are really amazing and I highly recommend going and looking at them. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at the final result. With time running out and just 2 days left for the tournament, I did forego a lot of the filming in the final days just to get it all finished, so some of the footage for a few of these models is likely a bit incomplete. So with that said, my complete list now looks like this, with just Tiberus, Calgar, left to go, which you'll have to come back for tomorrow to see. So have a good one, everyone. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.